wrote that, is that something that you knew you wanted to do from the very beginning, that sequence? And how did you approach the writing of that sequence?
Well, as always, it's a collaborative effort, and I had a great deal of help from Frank Summers, who is the outreach person at the Space Telescope Science Institute. But basically, the structure of the sequence and what the intent to say, I just needed to get the science right, was I wanted to do a pullback from that deepest point in the deep field and try to understand the scale of the universe and our puny scale within it a little bit. So that was basically the narrative thread of that sequence.
So for Stephen's last of his 3 clips, he clearly got over his reluctance to do aerials and did it to great effect on this next film. So Stephen, if you could set up how you worked, the collaborative way in which you worked with your team here.
This is Rocky Mountain Express. We had a fantastic team on the ground and in the helicopter. Ralph Mendoza is the operator. Steve Flynn is one of the greatest helicopter pilots I've ever flown with, if not the best. And happily, he's retired now and survived. There's a few close calls in this movie, I'll tell you. It's a really interesting mix of documentary and drama in the sense that we had no control over the steam engine at all because it was on a tight schedule. It was running on the main line. It cost $100,000 a day just for the track time. So they really weren't going to slow down or speed up or do anything for us. So that meant that every 3 minutes we had to find somewhere to land, reload the camera, refuel the helicopter potentially, and then try to find the train again. But we had to scout in front of the train because the pilot would not fly where he didn't know there were no wires. So that made it even more complicated. But you can see some of the choreography here is pretty spectacular. And we're basically, the pilot's instinct were incredible. I mean, just knowing where that train was. One time it's not in this, but we were flying in the park and we weren't allowed to in the national park, and so we had to hide in the woods so that the rangers wouldn't see us, and then try to find the train from our hiding place in the woods. I think for me, I've been a great fan of Greg's work from the very beginning and looked at all his films before I started. And every filmmaker tries to look at other people's work and think about what they would do. I mean, Greg's work was just very hard technically to come near. And Roman and I used to discuss that. So, we'd have to find a different way. I think what I thought I would do is more emotional. And not that yours aren't, Greg, but just the intimacy, the beaver. I hope everyone saw that beaver swimming out in the middle of the lake. Anyway, so the music we used here is from many of us have sang that as kids a long time ago, and I thought it was perfect for the film, but it was shop-worn for me. But I had a whole army of kids working for me at the shop, and they forced me to put it on because they never heard it before. So it's for a new generation, I guess. But anyway, enjoy it. Thank you.